Good morning, it's Andrew from Berrima Diesel Service here on a recovering wet day. We've got a bit of blue sky shining through now. Got a bit of a mixed bag of goodies. This one was in for a service, one of the DPF equipped Land Cruiser 200s. And the guys I think did a upgrade on the brakes in there. With some new Bendix brakes and DBA discs. General service. This one here is a bit of a long list of things. 100 series Land Cruiser in very good nick. We take a little look down in here, we can see a nice new intercooler. So this has just had the larger upgrade replacement intercooler put on there, and it's probably about twice the size of the original ones when you sit them side by side. We've covered these many times before. The idea is, of course, getting cooler air to the engine, and if you get cooler air to the engine, at the back of the manifold here is your inlet air temp sensor. The engine doesn't get powered down when the intercooler starts getting heat soak and gets hot, because these intercoolers stay cool the whole time through. So certainly a good thing on the 100 series, particularly when they're doing towing like this guy's doing. Getting ready, of course, for everything to open back up again and start moving about. Got one of the DPCHIPs in here as well. And of course the good old Delphi or Cav 296 filter with the main thing is the glass bowl. So they're a cheap element to replace, of course. But the beauty of it is they've got the glass bowl down the bottom, and that's very important. We actually had a manifold leak here, so we've had the whole turbo and everything off, found some broken studs. It's just getting old, so that's all been fixed up as well. And a few other goodies, the final tuning, and he's ready to tow. So the main thing, of course, for doing all these mods is towing. The intercooler upgrade on this thing, you get a much cooler air supply, so a more stable power supply when you're towing in hot conditions and mountains. Obviously with the DPCHIP over there, you're generating more power and more torque. Of course, that gives you better pulling ability up the hill. But we want to have a limit on that stuff. We don't want to go crazy. Well, there's lots of cowboy tunes going on out there, and damaging tunes, we call them, pretty dumb ones, because they come in here for diagnostics and we find massively overfueled. So just don't risk your good tow rig on those sorts of crazy tunes. So I've got another one lining up over here, a 200 series. So that's the next in line from the 100s up came to the 200s. I'm not sure which ones you guys like, but they're all pretty good when they're looked after. So it's getting the diesel pre-filter installed on this one, and it's got the 30 micron pre-filter. Now the reason for pre-filtering is, of course, so that you have a slow fuel supply going through, not a very fine filter that goes across the medium very slow, and it's got a good chance of separating water and catching harder particles. When you've got very, very fine paper medium, very, very fine ones, you can actually stream water and anything straight through it because you've got such a pressure differential. So there's the makeup of pre-filters, and then of course your main filter, and it's keeping the original main. This pre-filter will mount on a bracket just behind the main filter over there. It's also getting the DPCHIP and one of the PlugNGO systems installed in here as well. Obviously it wants more power for towing, wider torque range, and a quicker throttle response as well. Once you start towing big vans, you soon swallow up all that power that the V8s have, and you get a bit of a laggy throttle. So the PlugNGO is great at doing that, and obviously the DPCHIP's the thing making the power. One of the other popular goodies we've got here, we've covered this many times, is of course one of the German Manhummel catch can systems. You can see it there, it's ready to go. It'll go down the back corner here. We've got a relay in the way, but we'll move that down a little bit lower and then mount the catch can down the back. And the idea of the catch can is, of course, keep the oils out of that inlet pipe and keep your intercooler and everything and all your inlet nice and dry on the inside. Means that you've got a very, very long time before anything starts playing up. Whereas if you start allowing all those residual oils that recirculate through the engine to build up in there with EGR, soots and gunk and everything, of course in no time at all things start playing up, and we see issues, you know, either side of 100,000 Ks of these. So a catch can, a good thing. All you've got to do is drain it in between services. Take a bit of a look over here, and we've got this one starting to slowly come apart. It's got the injectors out, manifold heat shield off. It's getting a turbocharger installed. Luckily, of course, for the new manifold, because you can see a little tiny crack just starting to break up and a missing stud above there. So new manifold goes on this system, new turbo, get the injectors done, and again this thing will be ready for loaded towing trips. Away he goes. It's an old workhorse. It's got a little bit of rust, needs fixing up in it, but look, no doubt these things continue to keep going. They just get into a bit of a maintenance regime with age, where you've just got to keep doing little things as they happen. And obviously this one's got a few little jobs that the owner's going to do when he's done with the main thing, which is the turbo and the fuel service. So there's a bit of a mix of jobs for the day. You can keep watching more of these interesting videos at berrimadiesel.com, or look us up at Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, or again, of course, look at our e-shop there at berrimadiesel.com. You can find out more about looking after your diesel.